and non-living thing in this world is associated with a kala. The word kala means ability or a skill. Interestingly, the word kala also corresponds to the phases of the moon. The waxing and waning of the moon from full moon to new moon and back to full moon is in 16 phases. On the night of Sharad Purnima, the moon is said to be the closest to the earth and glowing in all its exuberance, flashing all its 16 colors. The moon rays on the night of Sharad Purnima are said to have a number of health benefits as well. That's why in some parts of India we make kheer and let it soak overnight in the moonlight and then we serve it as prasad overnight in the morning. It's also said that goddess Lakshmi comes to every household and checks who is awake. And it's not just about being awake, hello. What you do while being awake also matters. So to those who are receptive enough, goddess Lakshmi showers her blessings on them. Today also happens to be Valmiki Jayanti. Maharishi Valmiki was a great saint and the author of Ramayana, but did you know that he was actually a robber who transformed into a saint with the help of Naradji? So tonight indeed is quite a transformational night. Hey, all this is fine, Tapan, but how is this connected with that dance that you and Anjali performed? On this night of Sharad Purnima, Lord Krishna is said to have performed the famous Raasleela with the gopis. Leela simply means a divine play or a divine sport. The word Ras comes from the word Rasa, which means pleasure. There are different kinds of pleasure we seek through different avenues: food, clothes, ornaments, relationships, social media followers, name, fame, power, etc. Which appear to be different, but the essence we seek is the same. This essence is called Rasa, the supreme bliss. So Ras Leela is nothing but a joyful, pleasurable, divine sport. Now the festival of Navratri just ended and many of us danced our hearts out after 2 years of the pandemic. But did you know that there actually is a eligibility criteria to perform Ras Leela? Not everyone is qualified to perform Ras Leela. Even Lord Krishna, a perfect embodiment of 16 colors, did not go around dancing right away with the gopis. He first slayed the asuras, did he not? Which means he got rid of all negative, selfish, demonic thoughts and tendencies. Thereafter, we must also vanquish our pride of having good, noble and divine thoughts and tendencies. So, he conquered Devatas. He had a battle with Varun Dev, the god of the ocean, and Indradev, the god of rain, and won against both of them. Varun Dev is associated with the senses of taste and procreation. So only the one who has conquered these two senses is actually qualified to take part in Ras. But Lord Krishna was not only qualified, he was overqualified. His victory over Indra signifies victory over one's own sense organs and mind. Lord Krishna also had a competition with Brahmaji and he won that as well. We are talking about Lord Brahma, the creator himself, who was conquered, which represents conquering the inner instruments of mind, intellect, memory and ego. Now you only tell me, when there is someone who has mastered his own senses, his mind, and even transpassed ego, is there any chance of lust or desire arousing in such an individual? The consciousness is far too elevated. Hence, there is no question or connection of lust and desire with respect to Krishna's Raasleela. Let us be clear on that. But if we look at Raasleela as a young boy dancing with girls, then obviously our minds will get corrupted. Hence, Raasleela cannot be experienced or even understood from a standpoint of duality. From the standpoint of oneness alone is the bliss of this divine sport to be experienced. But Kamadevta didn't understand this. He said, Krishna, you may have conquered Asuras, Devatas and even Brahma, but it is very difficult to conquer lust. So he had a bet with Lord Krishna, and the premise of this bet seems like it's right out of some fancy romantic novel. He said, it should be an autumn full moon night. Along the banks of the river Yamuna, with the winds that are gentle, cool, fragrant and sensual. It should be in the night, in private, when you are alone and surrounded with beautiful maidens. Generally, even the most highly disciplined and self-controlled people conquer many vices but are unable to conquer lust. Example, Ravan. So Krishna, in this setting, can you overcome your desires? Let's see. So Krishna performed the Raasleela, which is the divine sport of conquering lust. But do you think Krishna would do this just to win a bet against Kamdevta? Bhagwan gave the supreme bliss of Brahman to the gopis through the Leela, as he had done with the Gopas through other Leelas. Now who are these gopis? Let us understand. They were someone's wife, someone's sister, someone's daughter, and they were all doing their household chores. Some were milking the cows, some were feeding the children, some were cooking meals in the kitchen, and the moment Krishna played his flute, all the gopis, they left their household chores and they gravitated towards him. Now, do you think any lady would just leave her house like that for some ordinary cowherd? And we say that women in those days didn't have freedom. Boss, here we are talking about women independently leaving their homes at night on their own will. But let's think for a moment. Would any woman do this just for lust? Again, such a big sacrifice cannot be for lust. It was for love, and that too, the highest form of love, that is bhakti, devotion. But now when the gopis reached the banks of Yamuna, Krishna didn't accept them immediately. He tested their eligibility as well. He asked, "Is it right for you to come here this and leaving all your husbands and homes and duties?" Now gopis were in an ethical dilemma. For a moment they doubted their own integrity. Some of them silently were sobbing, and then some of them started doing drama. They said, "Yeah, Krishna, we walked so much, our legs are also paining." And then someone said, "Your voice and your flute, it has lit a fire inside us which is yet to be cooled. Please don't deprive us like this. We came all the way just to see you." So Krishna said, "Okay, you came to see me, right? You saw, now go." "Oh, you came to hear me. You heard my flute, now go." Then some gopis said, "Krishna, we see divinity in you. That's why we have come." So Krishna said, "Okay, divinity is everywhere, right? It's in your husbands as well. Go, worship them. Why have you come over here?" Now one gopi replied smartly. She said, "When Lord Shiva himself is in front of you, will you worship Lord Shiva or will you pray to the Shivling? Hey Shiva, 1 minute, I'll just do Abhishek to the Shivling and come back." We see divinity in our husbands, yes. But when the divine himself is in front of us, why should we go back? And finally they spoke Vedanta. That we know that you are not an ordinary cowherd. In fact, we see that the divinity in you is the same divinity in me, and I want to experience that oneness with you, Lord Krishna. Finally, when Bhagwan saw that it is the supreme bliss that the gopis seek, he agreed to do the Raasleela. He duplicates himself into multiple forms, and each gopi dancing with each form of Krishna. But even during the Raasleela, ego aroused in the gopis' mind. That there are so many women in the world, but I am so lucky to be experiencing this. And instantly, Bhagwan disappeared. Slowly, all forms of Krishna were disappearing, and each gopi was left alone. They started enacting his leelas, they started searching for him through the forest, and then they saw footprints. But there was one more pair of footprints alongside. Now they are jealous, cause they know that there is this one gopi who is still with Krishna. Now nowhere in the Bhagavatam is Radhaji's name mentioned, but according to the Puranas, we know that this gopi was Radha. As they were following the footprints, they saw that now instead of two, only one pair of footprints are left. But the footprints are a little deeper. This much physics even the gopis knew. They knew that pressure is equal to force upon area, and they saw that the area of the footprints was the same, the pressure has increased, which means the force has increased, and weight is a force. Oh my god! What does this mean? That Krishna is lifting another gopi and walking. Now their jealousy has reached next level. They start searching frantically in the forest. They were far, far, far ahead, and then they saw that this gopi also was crying. Why? She said, I sustained as much as I could. But when I saw that I am the only one left with Krishna, just an ounce of duality entered in me, and Krishna vanished. We all talk about the destination as moksha or self-realization, right? But what about the journey? The Lord takes an avatar in human form and performs these leelas so that even we can resonate with the divine and learn from these leelas. Through the leelas, Bhagwan reveals our path in life. And as they say, it's not the destination but the journey that matters. Hence, wishing you all a very happy journey. May we all be each other's sarthis in life. Wishing you all a very happy Sharad Purnima.